Okay, guys, it's me, John, again. I'm posting another one. It's been a while, so I'm going to try to get everybody up to date on a few things. I've been, reading a lot of blogs and stuff on YouTube and talking about Enlil and Enki, and seems to be a lot of misinformation and kind of false knowledge going around that are confusing people as to their understanding of of the conflict that's going on. And when you look at the religions and all of them, they all have all of them. They're and they're talking about they could talk about Judaism and versus Christianity and the Muslim, and each one is proclaims that they're the true and the original, and they're kind of quarreling it out, and what is the name of God, and et cetera, et cetera. Is his name Jesus, Jehovah, or is it Yahshua, or is Enlil the good guy or Enki the good guy? What's the real deal with it? And let me just say this: basically, that all the religions that we see that most people belong to, they're branches. They came out of the Sumerian religion. Okay, the Sumerian religion is the oldest religion in the world, and is the root of all of them, and basically is the key to the history for all of us, for black and white people, because basically we all share the same lineage through the Sumerians to the god Anu, okay, was the father of all, okay, and basically there's a lot of posts, and you see I've been reading, and it's Enki blames Enlil and says he's so mean, and there's a lot of slander and false stories about Jesus Christ, and Enki created a lot of these stories because he really hated Enlil, and hated that Enlil was given powers as his older brother, and as the divine right of kingship powers were passed to him. So he was very angry and bitter about it, and this is part of this long war of propaganda and battle of words and culture, and basically that's why all these culture clashing is going on. And Enki, who's father of black people and African nation and the Egyptian culture, and they have brought a lot of things to the table. This has been their time, okay? This has been the black time that we've been living in, and they've made it look like as if it's been the white time, and then there's a lot of blaming going on between black people blaming white people, and this thing about slavery, and it going on, and it's really a lot of it is kind of fabricated to pull people in different directions. They have to choose black or white or whatever, and it's really ridiculous. I mean, really, I mean, nobody, skin color and people fighting over that, and who's better and who came first, and it's really just it's really kind of silly, right? And especially considering that we all have the exact same roots. So according to the Sumerians, that the black people were the last tribe to come along, or there were 12 tribes of Israel, and then they were the 13th tribe, which is really Egypt. Okay, the 13th house is the house of Egypt. Okay. And because they came last, they want to write things so that they came first, and they want to say, you guys, and you can understand and say, that makes a certain amount of sense there, and but amongst the gods, there's laws, and from the Anunnaki, I think really racism was forbidden, and nobody has more rights than anybody, no matter what their colors are. And really, because we're all children of Anu, we all have the exact same rights, and should be no one's better than the other. But unfortunately, this thing has kind of been created so that there'll be a split, between black and white. On this side, you choose, to go with Jesus and Leo, or you choose to go with Enki, Poseidon, and this is what's happening in the world today, and even as they're pressing, for the new world order to come out, which is a fascist kind of movement, which is totalitarian, and it's really is it anti-God? Yeah, it's anti-God. It's anti-Christ, and they want to overthrow Christ, but they don't have the power to do so. Because let me tell you, I am seeing God's power, and there's nothing. You're talking about divine power, okay? And He is beyond. He is the Creator and Father of all. There's nothing that this world can do to take the world from God, okay? I don't care who complains. They can complain and say, oh, and they don't like Him or whatever. But really, nobody. The amount of stories and slander that they made up on God, and which has been totally ridiculous. Much of which I believe for most of my life. When He saved me and I saw Him, I realized that everything I was told is a lie, and everything in this world, including racism, all this stuff is all just a bunch of nonsense. And it's just made, it's to create, so people have to choose and pick sides, and really that's what's going to wind up happening, And, people are going to go with Enki, and they're going to, Enki and his, machines and technology, and his, he's a god, and he wants to have his people, and you can understand that. But, unfortunately, in his push, he has to push over, the Enlil side, and has to try to push us out of the way. And he feels that that's his path to victory. And sad to say, I mean, it's it's wrong, because basically, nobody should be over one another. Black shouldn't be over white, and white shouldn't be over black. We should be the same, and we are the same. So that's the bottom line. Okay. Well, basically, but I've read a lot of blogs, and there's a lot of stuff from people from the Enki side, and they say, oh, Enlil, you're so mean, and he hated humans, and all this stuff. And Enlil is Jehovah Jesus, right? And he's the living God, the Father, okay? And God never did wrong to anybody. Really, we've been screwing everything up and listening to Enki and fighting with each other and breaking the laws and killing each other. So really, when judgment comes down, God's just looking and saying, look, all the laws are broken. He doesn't care black or white. It's really irrelevant to him, because the law is the law. And he's going to hand down the law and punish the nations for breaking it, okay? And this is, and then all people and the souls are all going to go before him, and he's just going to say, look, you were either, you were horrible, and I don't, want you near me, or, and you'll be, by your own, the things you've done in your life, you'll be in your own hell, So, but it's, I take his side because he saved me, and I see that basically a lot of the stuff written in slander is unfair, and he deserves recognition due to his name. And these people that want to take over the world, and they don't respect Jah, and they don't know that this is his land, and they're basically challenging him, and he can crush them in 2 seconds. And so it's really just futility. And this is what I see going on in the world, and it's sad. I see subversiveness. I see people manipulating and using the media, and even black people, and they're controlling the media, and they're with this Black Lives Matter thing, and they're trying to use it to take control and to blame white people. And it's not all white people's fault. Everything. I mean, that's racism right there too. You can't accuse people of things, and then you're gonna do the same thing to them. So it makes no sense to me. Racism itself is a lie, and no one's better than anybody. I don't care what color you are, and all cultures have something to bring to the table. And it's kind of old school versus new school mentality and ideology. Okay. And it all goes back to the original gods. You say, gee, why is all this fighting happening? Where did it come from? Well, it goes back to the Sumerians. And they were the birthplace of civilization. And really, in order to understand it all, you need to understand that all the religions, and they can argue about who they want, but that's all a smokescreen, because basically all of them have their roots, and all of us have our roots, to the Sumerian gods and pantheon, and are connected to Anu. So, I'm putting this out because I see people are so manipulated into thinking, and they don't even realize that they've been brainwashed to think certain ways, whether it be pro-black or pro-white or whatever it is. It's all really, it's just stupidity, because there should be love, and we should learn to love and accept each other, and understand each other's cultural differences, and understand that instead of talking about the things that we don't have in common, we should talk about the things that we do have in common, which is the same biological ancestry. Instead of arguing about who came first or any of that, that's really irrelevant. Okay, because we have a shared DNA, and it's not so far apart from each other as they'd like to make it think. But they want to make it, it's black or white and this and that. And let me tell you something, there are other people living here that aren't black or white, and there are other colors and other color beings, and that we haven't even seen yet. So when everything comes down, we're going to see it, and we're going to realize as human beings how ignorant and how manipulated we've been. And the use of the media and the television and et cetera is just ridiculous. And black people today, they're not oppressed, We're not keeping them down. White people aren't keeping black people down. If you turn on TV, there's tons of black celebrities, and they're rich people, and they're all tennis players and sports, and every walk of life, and really very successful, and even I saw the Oscars, and their Oscars, all the hosts were black, and they were kind of doing all these skits saying about how there was no black actor nominated, and how they weren't getting recognition, and I just was like, it's ridiculous, because when I looked at it, I said, you guys are hosting the event. You guys are running the media and all this stuff, and then you're trying to act like as if you're being oppressed, and I don't think that you are, and I don't think that that's fair, that you are going to accuse and be trying to make white people feel bad all the time, because basically, most of us support black people and love, and even all the there's a lot of great movies and great black actors, and so really it's just got to stop, because it's just ridiculous, and it's like people are beating this drum of hatred and ignorance, and creating a facade, and even you see a lot of these shootings, and they're basically hiring crisis actors, and they're staging this, and the cops are even in on it. Okay, that's how bad it is. I mean, it's just disgusting. I mean, I can only wonder, what God's thinking. He's looking at it and being like, okay, I'm letting all this stuff happen, but it's going to get to a point where he's going to have to intervene and say enough's enough. I mean, he can't allow us all to be thrown into bondage, right? So this is what I have to say, because I look at it. I went to public school in the Bronx. I was white. I was a minority. And I never really, I always I didn't look, down on anybody else, or we were from the hood, and everybody was, we all treated each other the same, and when in the Bronx we would use the N-word, and we'd say that, but we'd say it to anybody. It was like, it could be toward me or to anybody. We'd be like, hey, look at this dude, look at that dude, and it didn't really matter, and it's just stupid, even the N-word has its roots in the Sumerian culture, and the N-word and the word niga is a Sumerian word, which means like fat or blessed, and that, to be fat meant to be, if you were big or like fat, or you were like a bull of heaven, and you were blessed, you were considered to be a blessed person, If you go to Jamaica and you see, there's big heavy guys, and they go, hey, big man, bigger, and it was kind of a compliment, because they're saying you're a blessed person. You're if you were fat, and that's really where the meaning of the N-word came from. So and why black people use it as a term of endearment to each other is because it is this, and they know it. So they know it, but they're playing a little bit of word games, because they're gatekeeping. They know that basically all of our history is tied together. But we're not taught in school. We're not taught correctly. We're not given a clear indication and shown. All this has been obscured from us, right? So this is the reason why, because of the ignorance, that people are fighting and killing each other, and it's sad, okay? And people, black people, white people, we should love each other and learn to love each other and learn to accept each other's differences, and not hate each other and not feel, that you have to be violent to each other to get what you want, because you're not going to get what you want. In the end, it's only going to bring, whatever you do comes back to you in life. And if that's anything that I learned through what I went through, and, and it just made me mindful of that I had to walk the line right, and that God was watching me the whole time, and, even me, and he punished me and, put the hammer down on me, and he didn't say, oh, I'm just going to let him get away with it, because he's white, No, the law is the law, and when it came time, I got hit with the hammer, and believe me, it hurt, okay? And all I could say was, and I said, gee, God, I just help me, I'm sorry, sheesh, and try to straighten out my life a little bit. And even, I come on here online, and a lot of people arguing, and even if I, post a video or I make a post, and I try to, and you find yourself arguing with people, and then I look at it, and I'm like, what the hell am I arguing about? This is all so stupid, So, at any rate, it's been a while since I posted a video, and I think at this time, it's an important time, because all these things are coming forth, and a lot of things will be revealed, and there will be a mass deception to the world, and, it's going to probably get pretty damn ugly before, it's always darkest before the dawn, and before God comes and cleans it all up and straightens out everything he has to do. And, unfortunately, a lot of heads are going to roll. And, whatever people have done is going to come back to them, and they're going to get paid back, 100 times for whatever they did. Nobody's escaping anything, and the power of his word and his name, when you utter the name Jesus Christ and you utter the name Jehovah, you're calling on his holy name and the power of creation, okay? They don't teach you this in church, okay? And, there's a lot of the theologians, and they talk about the different religions, and they're arguing and blah, 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 but they don't understand. And all that stuff is really irrelevant, because all of it goes back to summer anyway, and that's the true root of the tree and of the knowledge, and even from the line of David, where it all is coming out of, okay? And everybody else, they're, every culture and every race, and they're a mix of all different people, and they all, are branches of the tree which have their root in summer, okay? And with the Anunnaki and the Sumerians and the Sumerian gods, and Enlil and Ninurta, and Enki and Marduk, and all their fathers and their grandfather, which is Anu of the Anunnaki. Okay, and I just need to put a good video out because it's been a while, and I've had been thinking about a lot of stuff, and things need to be said, and I'm praying for everybody, because it's it's a tough time, and there's things have to get sorted out, and the universe has its way of doing it, and it will, as it's done in the past. And that's all I know. That's all I could tell you is what I've seen, and try to share some of my knowledge with you regarding what I'm witnessing, seeing, and my thoughts upon these geopolitical events that are happening, okay? And the last thing is this: look, God made everybody perfect, okay? And he didn't. If God wanted you to have a computer chip in you, he would have put it in you when he made you. And so God's not going to come along and tell you, oh yes, you have to put in a chip to, this is all, deception. And many people are going to fall for this stuff, but it's ridiculous, because the reality is that the chip that God really put in us from the start was in our third eye, in our pineal gland, okay? And that's our hardwired phone system, which we're all connected to. So you don't need a chip or this or that. Some people that love technology, and they're technology people, and they're gonna want to go that way, and that's part of the reason why this stuff is happening. But there are many people that are going to say no, and they don't want to do that, and they don't want to be caught into all this machine world and being enslaved by it. So, just be careful and guard your soul, because Christ would never tell you to put in put a computer chip in you to make you a complete person. He's going to say, I made you perfect, okay? So with all that, I've laid a lot of stuff out there, and I hope you guys enjoy what I had to say, and if there's any questions, don't hesitate to message me or contact me, and I can discuss it with you further, okay? Hallelujah.